Hi, and welcome to Green on Green. I'm your host, Yvelle Green, and we have some great guests here today. We have Derek Oyang and Erica Levine of Stanford Solar Decathlon team. And so, guys, tell me about yourselves.
Hi, my name is Derek Oyang. I'm 21 years old. I'm from Arcadia, California, and I'm a fourth-year undergraduate at Stanford. I'm double majoring in architectural design and civil engineering.
Okay, great.
I'm Erica Levine. I'm originally from Katona, New York. I graduated last year from Washington University in St. Louis with a Bachelor of Arts in Environmental Studies, and I'm here at Stanford getting my master's in Civil and Environmental Engineering with a concentration in sustainable design and construction.
Wow, that's all I can say to that. So, Erica, I'm going to start with you. What is a solar decathlon?
So the Solar Decathlon is a competition that's sponsored by the Department of Energy, where a bunch of different universities from across the country come together and build and design a solar house. It's net zero energy, which means that it produces as much energy as it consumes using solar panels. So after designing and building the house, all of the teams will ship the house down to Irvine, California, where the house will compete in 10 different competitions, hence decathlon, yes. To see how well they perform a variety of functions from boiling water to drying towels in a clothes dryer, just to see how well they perform as a normal house.
Okay, great. And Derek, can you tell me how long has the Solar Decathlon been going on?
The Department of Energy started the competition in 2002, and then since then they've been having it every 2 years. It started at the National Mall. There should be 20 houses right up there. But then this time, for the first year, they're moving it to Irvine, California. This also happens to be the first time Stanford's ever competed. And as of now, there's actually 3 solar decathlon competitions. There's the one that happens in America every 2 years, but now there's similar competitions in Europe and in China as well.
Oh, that's great. It's really been growing.
Yeah.
So why are my taxpayer dollars going toward this event?
Well, there's 2 major reasons. The first is that this is a way to innovate and develop new green energy technologies. We have some problems with global climate change and with reliance on fossil fuels, and this is a great way to really learn how to shift away from that and towards a cleaner, more sustainable, more green future. And the second is to inspire people like Derek and myself to really get their hands dirty and get involved in science and technology, and to sort of inspire people to innovate through hands-on projects like that.
Okay, great. And so I'm just thinking about this whole process of the Solar Decathlon. When I wake up in the morning, I typically think about what's for dinner, you know, whether I'm going to barbecue or what's going to happen for the rest of the day. But Derek, you woke up one day and you said, I'm going to build a house. Can you elaborate on that?
It wasn't that easy, but it's actually funny you say that, because in my childhood, I would wake up every day and live my life, but I wouldn't think too much about how homes worked, about how we use energy on a day-to-day basis. I would leave the sink water running because I liked the sound of water. I would leave the TV on at night just because I wanted some company. And so I think I grew up learning a lot, but then being kind of ignorant about how energy works, about how each individual person has actually a big impact on the environment. So now that I'm at Stanford learning about architecture and civil engineering and learning about the environment, I feel like I have a lot of responsibility to actually change the standard of living, to try to design homes that actually instill good values in people, so they understand, that using the sink actually consumes a lot of water, and that has to come from someplace and require a lot of energy. So we at Stanford decided we wanted to compete in this competition. We wanted to design and build a net zero home entirely by ourselves as students, with a lot of help from the community. And just actually apply our knowledge from the class environment to a real project.
Okay. And so you mentioned a lot of help from the community. What is this team composed of?
Students from all levels, from freshmen to PhD students, along with a number of faculty advisors. And we have different sub-teams. So we have communications, business, construction, architecture, electrical controls, mechanical, all these different sub-teams. So we have a really diverse group of people who are working together in this very interdisciplinary environment to bring their sort of expertise together. And we've also been reaching out to a lot of different companies who have been really instrumental in helping us out. The Carpenters Union was with us a couple weeks ago to help us actually put the thing together. So, without their help, there's no way that we would have been able to do what we've done so far.
Can you mention some of the companies that have made donations toward this project?
We have a $50,000 donation from Intel. and then also recently a $100,000 donation from DirecTV.
Wow.
And we work directly with these companies to not only, we use that donation to actually sponsor and fund our project, but we actually work with the companies and try to get interesting new technologies and products inside of the house.
So in a bigger scheme of things, what's your vision for this project?
All 20 teams have to compete in this decathlon. So they all are about 1,000 square feet homes, roughly the same price, about $250,000 for the whole house, materials and labor cost. And they all are net zero, so that's kind of even playing field. I think what really differentiates the winning teams are the ideas, the stories you tell about your team, about the project. And for ours, we have two big ideas. The first one is this idea of the core. And the big question we ask ourselves is, how do we design houses that are more like cars? Cars have engines which are mass manufactured in a factory setting, which means that they have a lot of great technology continually added to them. You can build them with high quality control and low cost in an assembly line process. And then you can build a Lexus, a Toyota, a Nissan out of the same engine. So there's this idea of different shells around the engine. So we tried to translate that idea to the home industry, which actually is pretty backlogged. You have construction happening all around the country, high cost, high labor, all kinds of mistakes can happen in the field. So we thought, let's start building homes in factories. Let's create an engine which has the most complicated systems like your mechanical, your electrical, your plumbing systems, and put that all in a big shiny metal box. And that metal box can be mass manufactured. It can be put on a trailer, shipped anywhere around the country, and then you can just kind of plug that right into any kind of home. So the homeowner can have, however many rooms they want. They can have different architectural styles. But because we mass manufactured the core and put all the best new technology in that core, then we can guarantee that these homes are going to be net zero. So we're actually kind of thinking of this almost like a business model, which I think is something pretty unique in the competition. And I think the only way that we can take kind of these great ideas and actually think about the future of the home industry. The other big idea we had is about people, because we can have smarter and smarter homes, more sustainable homes, but the most important thing is actually sustainable people. Like I kind of said at the beginning, it's about people understanding their footprint, their place in the energy narrative from day one of living in the house. So instead of just getting an energy bill at the end of every month, and you find out how much your utilities and your water cost, but it's really hard to actually change your behavior if you're just getting an energy bill at the end of the month. So one thing we're doing at Stanford is part of this core is an iPad app, which actually tells you your energy usage on a day-to-day basis. And we think that's the key to actually giving people the agency, the power to actually change their lifestyles.
And I would agree with you, Derek. I've been in the solar industry for some years, and I've noticed that after putting solar on the homes, people tend to adjust their behavior, right?
Yeah.
But it would be really great to have them think about that behavior prior to actually getting the home, of course.
Yep.
So I think that's great what you're talking about. So what stage are you in right now for the project? What stage?
Well, we got the bid actually last January. So we've been working over a year, but it's only in the past couple of weeks that we actually started building the house, which has been the most exciting part. I think we have some photos of the house, but we started just 3 weeks ago, and we put the floors up, we put the walls up, and those are pretty exciting. This is a photo actually of us putting a wall in the house. We kind of forgot actually, it was pretty funny. So we built it on the floor, and we got a big forklift to just drop the wall in place. This is a photo of the back deck. There'll be solar panels on the roof. There'll be a 7 kilowatt system that will make more energy than the house needs. I think the next photo is of the front. Oh no, this is Erica on the roof, nailing the roof down in place. And then the front of the house shows the core, which is that big innovation. It's right there in the center. And that's the piece that we're building it by ourselves now, but the idea is that could be built in a factory in the future and shipped anywhere around the country. And then we have a photo of the interior. That's just a couple days after we started, really. So it was really cool to see that finally come together. And then I think we have a photo of the team as well at the end of our construction period. That was just so fun. We actually did it over spring break. We sacrificed the vacation trip to Miami or Hawaii.
Wow, that was very big
of
you.
And instead, we worked 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. pretty much the entire week, but it was really rewarding.
And Derek stayed for his birthday, so
Wow.
we especially thank him for
You really believe in this
that up.
project.
Yeah.
So talking about the team, I'm just thinking about the team concept. I've worked for various companies in the past, and when it was like a team of 5 people, everybody has different ideas and want to proceed in different directions. I mean, how do you gather and keep control of 40, 50 people? How's that done?
Well, I think it's really an asset to have so many different viewpoints coming together and get so many different ideas during the design phase. But it can get a little hectic to manage. We've broken the team down into sub-teams. So we have an architecture team, which Derek heads, the construction team, which I'm a part of, and then we have communications, who heads our Facebook page and our Twitter page and all of our sort of public outreach, things like that. And so by breaking it down with a team lead and then having people working under that, it's kind of easier to create bite-sized chunks that people can do, but we don't want to lose sight of that bigger vision that we have. So we have weekly meetings where the entire team comes together and finds out what we've all been up to, and then we also have team lead meetings where we can sort of discuss amongst ourselves where we want to be going in the future.
And I'll add that you definitely don't need 40 people to design a house. It's sort of our choice to include as many students in this process, because right from the very beginning, the whole reason that we're doing this is for education. It's for the public and it's for us. And it's definitely worth, the value of the project is in getting as many people involved, learning about these systems, and actually trying to build a house for the first time.
Okay. Well, 2 questions come to mind, Derek. First of all, did you get Stanford's approval to start this project? And why is it taking Stanford so long to even enter into the Solar Decathlon?
Well, we did get the approval in the early process where we submitted an application to the Department of Energy, but they definitely didn't know what they were getting themselves into, because we're students are pretty crazy there. And I asked myself exactly the same question as to why Stanford has never competed before. It really came down to a student initiative, that it took a couple of us coming together and saying, we demand our own education. We want to apply the things we're learning to a real project, and we're just going to do it.
And that's how any change starts, right? It starts with that one person, that one idea, and then you come together as a team because everybody knows their strength in numbers, right?
Absolutely.
So yes, that's great. I commend you on that. I'm curious, has there been any funny stories that's taken place? I mean, I heard, Erica, you might have had an accident, and being in charge of safety, that might be an issue.
Yeah, so I'm the life safety captain for the team. So during the build, it was up to me and Nellie, the health and safety officer, to make sure that everybody stayed safe and wore their protective equipment and no one was dancing around on the roof or anything. And we were putting together some scaffolding, and this is probably the worst accident that we had. I was yanking, trying to get this scaffolding unhooked, and I ended up smacking myself in the face, which, as the life safety captain,
it's a little bit ironic.
A little bit ironic, but at the same time, I'm glad that it was just me and an ice pack for a few minutes, and that was the worst thing that we had to deal with throughout the entire build so far. Knock on wood.
Yeah, we don't want anything to happen to you. So how many hours are spent in a typical day working on a home, or is it like a certain number of days a week or so many hours a day so you can hit those targets?
Well, over spring break, we kind of picked spring break because that's the one chance we get to really work 5 days a week. We actually worked into the weekends as well. We actually just started school again last week, so we're all taking classes on the side. So it's always a part-time job when you're at Stanford. You're doing too many things all at once. So it's actually pretty hard to schedule. We're trying to, it's like people take classes either in the mornings or in the afternoons or both, and we're just trying to sneak in 4-hour segments where a couple of students can come together and do a critical piece like installing the siding or installing windows. And we have to kind of work with that flexible schedule from now all the way to June, which is when we hope to finish the entire house. And then we'll have all summer to test the house to actually make sure it's net zero, make sure all the systems are working. And then in September, we'll break it apart, put it on trucks in Irvine for the competition.
Okay.